All right, everybody, good morning. Like I just mentioned to you guys, those of you who just came in, there's lots of information in the chat right now I just put on there. I'm going to introduce you guys to Kayvon Tallis, and Kayvon is from Flatiron Capital, and he is going to discuss with you guys some alternative financing. You guys ask me about this kind of stuff all the time, so it's great to have Kayvon in here. We really appreciate him coming in, tell us a little bit about his company, and answer any questions that you might have. These guys are putting hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on the street to help people like you and your customers who might not qualify for traditional financing, or they need to do something very quickly, or they need to do something a little bit outside the box and make a little more money. So I want to introduce you guys to Kayvon. Kayvon, please tell us all about yourself and the company.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Ryan, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just a little louder, like you did just then.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. If you don't mind, I just want to make sure that everyone could hear me because I have a little mute on the screen here. Bridget Day, can you hear me? I'm sorry to, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Ryan, again, I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to speak to everybody. Hopefully I could be a major asset to anybody that's looking for the type of financing that we do. We have multiple different programs in today's market, and especially in Florida. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself, this is a family fund. We started lending about 7 years ago, very traditionally in New York City. And what we were doing is just dealing with fix and flippers at that time, just in the New York tri-state area. I moved to California about 4 years ago, had my business out there, and due to the fact of COVID and the whole 9 yards, it wasn't, it just didn't work out for me. So I moved to Florida. I wanted to be back on the East Coast, be with the family, and have access to go and come. And I foresee Florida as a very future success for Florida. I think we're going to have a lot of more individuals moving here, and I think real estate prices will continue to go higher. So this is my situation. I have a couple of different programs. I have bridge loans that I'm able to give to a regular individual if they're not getting regular financing for 1 year, where it's credit driven in regards to 85 LTV, 90 LTC, and my rate starts at 7.5, 8, depending on credit score. Now, if someone doesn't have credit for a fix and flip, or they just want to borrow the money for 1 year because they can't get traditional financing, I will lend them the money until they get their finances in order to get regular FHA, conventional, whatever type of agency financing they want to do. So I will lend them money on that, on a 1 year or 2 year note. I don't know, I know you guys have 13 offices. Is that correct, Ryan? Okay. So with the 13 offices, I don't know if anybody's dealing with foreign nationals. I also lend money to foreign nationals, as long as they have reserve money and they have an LLC, and all my programs are LLC based. These are not for personal names. With the fix and flips, I go from 1 to 20 units, but again, I noticed that you guys are also involved in commercial. I also entertain mixed use as well. So as well as I lend money on raw land at a 50, 60 LTV, and I'll give them 85, 90% on a ground up construction if anyone has any customers that are looking for that as well. I also have a 30-year fixed product. And this product is, again, it's an LLC. It's for either a second home or Airbnb or an investment property. And this has been very fruitful because I'm seeing a lot of individuals that are buying second properties. They want to have a 30-year fix. They don't want a 1 year. This program is LLC, and I need a credit score of 620. I'll go to 80 LTV, and the rate starts at 4.25. That's single family, multifamily, up to 8 units. And I can also go up to $2.5 million on that. And again, it's very attractive. It starts at 4.25. And this is, again, Airbnb. If any of your clients are buying Airbnb, they have investment properties, this is a very, very fruitful vehicle to put the buyers into. Again, I don't know if you guys have any foreign national buyers. if the foreign nationals come into here in Florida, I actually live in Miami area. I live in the Brickell area. And I've been getting a lot of customers right now that are coming in from South America, and they don't have their social security number. They're not doing taxes here. I'm able to do those transactions because they could buy them in LLC. And those are typically 60, 70 LTV, and the rate is 4.5, 4.75. So, I hope that anybody has anything that, again, they can't get conventional financing because the individual doesn't make the income, but if they have the money for down payment and it makes sense, I'll look at every deal. And if there's some deals that are more difficult than others, I'm gonna let you know what I could do, because I also portfolio the deals ourselves as a family. We hold the property, we hold the note, and we'll lend them money as long as the LTV makes sense and the deal makes sense. So Ryan, do you have any questions, or anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I'm sure the fine people here do. Go ahead, Daryl.
What's your origination fees?
So it's
generally. Sorry, go ahead.
Generally, it's 1 to 2 points, depending on the risk of the transaction. So that's how I look at it. So if you have somebody that doesn't have like a credit score, and again, this goes for a domestic buyer that I was dealing with on Sunny Isles. He had a tremendous amount of equity. He wanted to refinance for a year. I lent him the money because he had a 60 LTV and his credit was shot. So I look at that as, you know what, I'm going to charge him 2.5 points. I'm just being very, transparent with you. But then I have another buyer that I just gave a fix and flip money to at 650 in Miami Shores at 7.5 in one origination.
Is this your own private money, or is it through a company?
Everything is in-house decision. My brother's the CEO of the company. Hopefully Ryan will send you a press release that we had earlier this year. We've done over $500 million in transactions throughout the country. We've done about $30-40 million here in the last 6 months in the Florida area. So that's why I've come down here. Again, I see potential growth here. So this is our own family money. There's a couple of wealthy individuals that we have in the family. It's not my money, but it's the family money. So we make the decisions on what's going to be best for us to portfolio the loans.
Okay, perfect. Do you have a rate sheet or anything that you can send out to us to show us the different portfolios, the loans that you have, all the loan to values and so forth?
So Daryl, what I'd like to do is, I don't have a rate sheet, but I have a direct, you could call me directly. And what I do is I'll price it out for you. I have a desk that is dedicated to pricing out deals, because someone with an 800 credit score is definitely going to get a different rate with someone that has a 640 credit score. But also I want you to know, traditionally, if the credit is not sufficient, we have a software system, and I'm sure you've dealt with this in the past with agency deals, where we could propel the credit score higher if they pay off a couple of their debts. Sometimes that may be the case.
Okay, great. Thank you.
My pleasure. And I like your background with the Muppets.
I have a question.
Sure.
So for foreign nationals, people actually living in a different country, what do you need as far as, I don't know, proof of funds or backup? Like, what do you need from the foreign nationals?
So the situation with that is that I'd like to see them have a LLC here with a certification of good standing, and their CPA would write a letter, as well as the bank, showing the type of funds that they have, as well as reserve money. So typically I'd like to see anywhere from 3 to 5 months in reserves that they're able to pay off that they're able to pay their mortgage on a monthly basis. So I'd like to be a strong candidate when it comes to that, and I'll go as high as 65 LTV on that.
Okay.
Guys, I put Kayvon's contact information in the chat. His email, phone number, website, etc.
Any other questions?
Oh, I'm sure we've got more questions.
This is Ida Santiago. I was asking, why will a buyer should select you and your company rather than the banking institution or the mortgage brokerage companies?
Well, listen, I'm not doing conventional or FHA type of transactions. My transactions are strictly LLC, and they're only meant for investors or individuals that want to purchase a second home that are not getting regular financing, or they don't have a W-2 income, or their 1099 and their 1099 income is not sufficient. That's why they would come to someone to do a bridge loan. And I'll give you an example. My 30-year fix for it that I was mentioning to you, if we have someone that's buying that, I like to look at them as if they're renting the property on an Airbnb, or if they're purchasing it to put it in investment, as long as that they could make sure that their taxes and insurance or any type of HOA they have is equivalent to the rental income that they're going to be bringing in, I'm going to be able to provide them with the product. And I'm also much faster than your regular conventional institutions right now. I have in-house underwriting. I also have appraisal that goes out. That's a third-party vendor. So these are the type of advantages that we bring to the table. Again, this is not regular financing, and it's for individuals for investment or fix and flip properties.
Thank you. Now, I follow up. How long is the process with you once the property is identified? How long is the process for you to disburse the loan?
So typically, as long as that I have their LLC documents, we could set up an appraisal, and it depends on which area the appraisal goes out to. Right now, I believe that in the Florida area, it takes anywhere from 5 to 7 days to get an appraisal. During that time, we would like the attorney to set up and get all the title work done, make sure that there's no problems. As long as everything falls into place, I could typically close in 7-8 business days, as long as we have all the documents. And again, I'm not looking for tax returns. I just want the LLC documents, certification of good standing, bank statements, making sure that they have the sufficient funds. And as long as we get the appraisal back, everything is on the up and up. That's the process.
Thank you very much. Fair enough.
Thank you very much, Ida. Appreciate you asking a question.
And Edith's
So
question, go.
do you do a pre-approval? I'm kind of, I've not dealt with these that often. So we would be putting an offer in on a regular property probably. So how do you do a pre-approval for these people ahead of time?
Well, listen to me. You know what? We're all in the same boat, respectfully. We're in the business of getting deals done. If you would like from me to pre-screen the individual to make sure that their credit is sufficient, they have no blemishes, they have no collections, they don't have any issues that it's going to arise, I do a pre-underwrite. Of course, I could do that for you as well. What I do is I collect their last 2 most recent bank statements, making sure that the funds are there. I'll look at their LLC documents. And the most important thing when you're looking at an LLC is their certification of good standing. If they're able to provide me with that information, absolutely, I could give you a pre-approval. That's the easy part.
Okay.
One
Guys,
question.
what I want you guys to look at here and keep in mind, and Edith's question brought this to mind. This is another, what he's offering is another arrow in your quiver, guys, another way to get business, another way to do deals that you couldn't normally do. No, it doesn't compete with conventional financing. Of course, if they can go get a 2.75% conventional loan right now, then that's not his game. His game is for people looking to do investments, looking to do, maybe they can't get conventional financing, foreign nationals, those kind of people. So this is not conventional real estate. This is for, he's not trying to compete with the mortgage folks that we have on here and stuff. He's doing out of the box type deals. So carry on. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, of course, of course.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
So now on a foreign national, they don't have social security number. So credit will be out, correct?
Again, when it comes to foreign national, do I pronounce your name Adul?
Yeah, that's correct.
Hi, Adul.
Hey.
So when you have a foreign national, and obviously here in Florida, we have a lot of South Americans that come here. So basically how that works is this. they're going to have an LLC or they're going to have it set up an LLC. Okay.
Right.
What I look at with a foreign national is that their LTV is not going to be 85%. It's going to be 65, 70 LTV. Okay. They have to put money down if they're going to be purchasing here. Okay.
Right.
And what I also like to look at is I like to look at their reserve assets, their reserve money. I want to make sure that if I'm lending somebody money, they're buying, let's say, a condo, or they're buying a single family residence, I would like to see that 4 to 6 months of reserve money just in case there's a hiccup. So, and again, sometimes with the foreign nationals, when they're going into contract, and I've had this deal happen before, they already have somebody in place with a lease that they're going to be giving them money once they close. So that's also a very big advantage in order to make the file go smoothly. So that lease is going to say, hey, I'm going to be putting down 10,000, and I'm also going to be renting the property for $3,000 a month. So that's also a big attribute to, you know, getting these type of deals done. Listen, I tell you guys something. I'm very, very aggressive when it comes to getting deals done. I don't like to turn people away. I'm not in the business of turning people away. I'm not an underwriter. Underwriters in typical banks, they hate to make deals work. I look at it in a way where, hey, do you have a co-signer? How can I get creative to get the deal done? And another big thing is that CPA letter is going to indicate how the foreign national could get the money.
Okay. Now, do you have to use your title company for closing? Because, you know, the seller chooses the title company. Do you have to?
It's a case-by-case basis. That's a great question. I just want to make sure whoever is underwriting it is it, you know, Chicago, it's a reputable company, because there has been some fraudulent activity with random, you know, small title companies. As long as it's been underwritten by a company that we're aware of, I have no problem doing that, like a First American or anybody that's a national company.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, one question.
And guys, most of the local title companies you deal with are underwritten. They might be ABC title, but they're underwritten by somebody like a Chicago title or First American or something like that. So typically when you, I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but you go to, you know, ABC title, and they're, you know, it's just, they're underwritten by a steward or somebody like that. So go ahead.
Okay, but
I have a quick question.
I have a question. Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Malvis first, and then Fernando. And then I know Lena's been trying to ask a question too.
My question is, part of my ignorance, but you talked about LLC certification of good standing.
Yes.
What does that mean, and where can it be found, and who provides that?
Thank you for asking the question, Malvis. Appreciate it. That all comes down to the specific state will provide that LLC with a certification of good standing. It's just one paper saying this company has no fraudulent activity, they're not in bankruptcy. They know what to do, or their attorney will get them the certification of good standing, or whoever set up the LLC for them. They will make sure to provide me with that paperwork. And also, it also talks about who's the officers are. Who owns the, you know, do they own 50%? Do they own 100%? So typically anybody that comes up with an LLC will associate that with their attorney. That attorney will provide them with all that information that's needed.
And Kayvon, you're seeing a lot of single asset LLCs, right? They're just coming up with these to do this deal, right? So when you tell them they have to borrow money through the LLC, they're pretty much just going to go start an LLC a lot of times. It doesn't have to be an LLC that's been up and going.
It could be either way. It's not a problem.
Okay.
And by the way, just to let you guys know, and I also do blanket loans. I just did one for a customer. He bought 7 properties throughout Miami 5 years ago. He's got tremendous amount of equity. If you have customers that are not super cash rich, you might want to suggest to them, hey, listen, I have a gentleman, Kayvon. Why don't you speak to him? Maybe you want to take some of those assets that you have, cash out, refinance at a 70 LTV, and then we could buy more properties. And we do that as a blanket, and that goes under one LLC. And if you also have any type of problematic deals, this is something I also wanted to mention to you. I just did one recently in the Porsche building in Sunny Isles, where the gentleman was in default. So I look to buy, I look to lend on any type of problematic deals as well. They're called bailouts. Just so you guys know, if you have anybody that needs that type of financing as
well. Fernando.
I have another question. Oh, sorry. I'll wait.
No, go ahead. Fernando, let's go Fernando.
Okay, no, my question was about LLC and it was already answered. It's okay. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Amanda.
Lena's been trying to ask a question for a long time. Lena, are you still there?
Hi, yes, I have a question because I joined in a little bit later and I just wanted to clarify. So program that is like a hard cash money deals versus your program. Is that two separate programs? So it's basically the same thing. And basically because hard cash money deals, they are slightly more expensive, but you mentioned doing something like Airbnb. Would the rate be a little bit less? And also, how many points upfront do you normally charge on your like average deal?
Thank you for asking the question, Lena. Lena, on the hard money, that's for 1 year. That's for either fix and flip or somebody that's looking to purchase a property and they don't have their finances together, or that's a ground up type of transaction on the 1 year, or they're looking for cash out quickly. And then what they're going to do is they're going to have an exit strategy in order to go into a regular conventional mortgage or sell the property. So that's the 1 year. Now, for Airbnb, that goes into the 30-year category. That's a 30-year box. And it all goes based on their rent roll and their future. If you notice on Airbnbs, they already have schedules set for the next month or two. So I look at their past 12 months in the next 3 months in order to give them money on an Airbnb transaction. So the rate, again, if it's a domestic, I look at their credit score and I see how I could do it, and I could go as high as 80 LTV on that transaction. Now, if it's foreign national, they're looking to do an Airbnb, I look at it as a 65 LTV to 70 LTV transaction.
Are there any prepaid points to Airbnb type of deals?
Great question. On the 30-year fix, it's a 3-year prepayment penalty.
No, yeah, she's asking about origination points, which you covered already. It's 1 to 2 points typically.
1 to 2 points.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lena. Thank you for asking the question.
Tammy. Tammy, did you get to ask?
Hey, I had to unmute while I'm driving. So for a scenario like this, if I have a Canadian that's got 50% equity in a vacation rental condo, somebody's renting it from him currently. I don't know that he's got a lot of assets. What kind of, could he pull out cash out of that condo with your type of financing?
Absolutely. I'd like to look at the whole transaction.
Okay.
I'm sorry, is this Abby? Who am I speaking with? I apologize.
Tammy.
Hey, Tammy. Got you. Tammy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, when it goes to condos, we want to make sure that the condo, we get a condo questionnaire and make sure that the building is warrantable. This is a very big compensating factor that I like to look at when I'm lending somebody money, making sure that the building has no financial issues. Okay. So I would look at this individual. If they don't have a lot of money, I'm just asking you, how are they planning on repaying? Are they Airbnb-ing the property? Is it a investment property? Do they have someone?
Yeah,
okay.
it's an Airbnb, and he's leasing it out. Somebody else is actually Airbnb in it, but it is an investment property for him, and he's in Canada.
Okay. I'd like to get an address. I'd like to get the taxes. I'd like to get the insurance. I'd like to get the HOA. I'd like to see how I could structure the deal to make sure that the deal, again, is doable. And I'll give you a quick yes instead of a slow no. No salesmanship, no BS. If I could do the deal, I'm going to tell you what's needed to get the deal done on the foreign national.
Yeah. Okay. I would probably have him call you directly, I'm thinking.
My pleasure.
But I mean, I don't have a problem getting you all the documents on his behalf.
Sure. And if you'd like, let's speak with him. Let's make sure that his rent roll that he's bringing in from the Airbnb is sufficient. Let's just make sure that where's the property, if you don't mind me asking?
It's in Kissimmee by Disney. It's like Windsor Palms.
Okay.
A vacation rental.
Tammy, if you look under the chat, my information is there. I work 7 days a week. You could call me anytime. So anything that you need, If I don't pick up, I'll call you back. Let me know. We could get on a call with the gentleman and we could analyze it right there and then see what we could do for him.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
All right, any other questions for Kayvon? Well,
Another question, this is Ida.
Hi, Ida.
Hey, how long or how many days do you require for the foreign investor money to be seasoned in this country? Is it 30 days, 60 days? So you can finance the purchase?
Ida, this is non-conventional financing.
Oh, I'll just
Okay.
keep on thinking.
This is non-conventional. I could care less if he's liquidating his crypto account and he's bringing in the money. As long as that it's in the same account and it's not being gifted to him, it's coming from his personal name, because his personal name will be on the LLC, correct? So if he's coming in from DR or Colombia, correct? I just want to make sure that the money is not coming as a gift. I want to make sure the money is clean. That's all I care about. If it's coming from crypto, if it's coming from stocks, whatever it's coming from, I could care less. As long as that it's coming from him or his corporation and we could match it. That's all that matters. So there is no 30 or 60 day window that it needs to sit there and then we got to go and bring new bank statements. You have nothing to worry about on that.
Very good. You know what? I think I'm gonna be calling you.
Anytime. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
awesome.
I have another question. So you mentioned you're working with your family money type of thing, but if I know someone that would like to be an investor, are you taking more investors? And what would be approximately the return?
No, thank you very much for asking.
You have enough, right? No need more money.
Listen, there's never enough, you know, and we're very thankful. It's again, it's the family money. And I would like to explain one thing to you. The background is that the family moved here in the 80s. We're Middle Eastern descent. And they became doctors and whatever the case is, and they started buying real estate. They have 4,000 doors. They started making, and again, you got to remember, New York in the last 20, 30 years, the real estate market has been such a explosive growth. So they have their money in play. And when I mentioned to you, there's one thing that I had mentioned to you is that we do problematic deals and we also do bailouts, okay? So those deals will keep in, or some of the deals that we do bring in, we will service them inside the company. Some of the loans, you got to remember, just like any other bank that does, like, you know, the mortgage bankers or the smaller institutions, they put $50, $100 million and then they sell it to a different institution, to a hedge fund, or to a pension fund. This is how the business works. So when I tell you it's a family business, we lend the money. We have the money in-house. So unfortunately, they're not looking for anybody else.
Kayvon's trying to get rid of the money that he has. He doesn't need more to get rid of. He's trying to put everything on the street now. He doesn't need more.
Love the question. Why not, right? We all investor with you, Kayvon.
I'm sorry, Ida, say that again, please.
I was just kidding. We can all just be investor with you.
Hey, listen to me. It's all fun and games until somebody doesn't want to make a payment. And then that's where all the gray hair comes in. Trust me when I tell you. And from my wife, of course, but that's another story.
Oh, I see. I understand the white hair now. Good.
So,
all right. Yeah, it could be worse. All right. So,
I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry, man.
All right. So any other questions for Kayvon?
Yes, quick question. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Joy.
Hi. I have a question regarding your bridge loan. Are there like prepayment penalties?
3-month prepayment penalty on a 1-year note And if you're buying a 30-year, if you're going into a 30-year, pardon me, it's a 3-year prepayment penalty.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's a good question, Joy. Any other questions?
And by the way, listen, if we do have somebody that's looking to borrow money for 2 months and they, they tell us ahead of time, okay? I'm the person that gets on the phone with them and I bundle the package. I make it very attractive and I give my underwriter, for example, reasoning. Hey, listen, we need to cut down the prepayment penalty to 2 months, okay? Listen, are they gonna say yes? I could make them say yes, but I just wanna be very transparent with everybody. It could be like a 0.5% difference. If we're giving them an 8% due to the fact of their credit score and their reserve money and the whole 9 yards, listen, the rate could go to 8.5. It's not a big deal. It's a $50 to $100 payment. So to answer your question, Joy, definitely 2 to 3 month prepayment. That's the way I look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will tell you from experience, everybody always needs their bridge a little longer than they think they do. So,
especially in today's market, with the general contractors are taking their time, permitting is taking their time. With construction costs, it's been an interesting time for us, but it's also been, if you're in real estate, it's a successful time.
yeah, and the lender who's going to take you out is taking their time. So, all right. Any other questions for Kayvon?
I have a question.
Chica.
Hi, Chica.
Yes, what you said on the 30 years loan for the Airbnb, it's a 3 years penalty if you wanted to prepaid.
They have to hold the note for 3 years.
Okay, I got it now. So it's not a prepay penalty for 3 years, like to pay the loan, the amount they will pay for 3 years. It's just they have to hold it for 3 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, they have to hold it for 3 years.
So if they refinance or sell within the first 3 years, there's a penalty.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
I don't think rates are going to go any lower than where we are already. I mean, if you're looking at the 10-year bond in the last 2 to 3 weeks, it's been ticking up, on a regular basis. And I'm very neck and neck with investment property rates for individuals that are buying investments right now. If you're looking at investment property rates on a 30-year, and again, those are all full doc. I'm just going LLC bank statement. So, and again, I'm able to get the deal done in a very, very, very quick manner. You don't have to go through all the headaches and going through the hoops and waiting to close a month and a half. Some of the deals that we have are time sensitive also, and especially in today's market.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Kayvon? I want to remind you guys his contact information is in the chat. I actually linked his some of his programs, and I linked his press release that he referenced. If you guys need another copy of that, let me know and I'll get it to you. And it explains a little bit about the company as well. We did an about there. Any other things that you'd like to present, Kayvon? Anything else?
Again, I'm available for everybody 7 days a week. I'm working. So if there's any questions, any scenarios, I would love to be part of the family and hopefully, have continued success with you guys and just, hopefully just get deals done for you guys. It just takes one deal to show you what I'm capable of doing. Getting a deal done, whether it's easy or tough. I always know people want to throw me a curveball. And the biggest thing for me is not wasting anybody's time in your company. I don't want to say yes and then no. That's why everything gets pre-screened, underwritten before it goes in. And then once I'm able to really, get the deal done, you see how it's all about customer service with me. Taking the phone calls, not hiding under the desk. Seriously, I really mean that. Because I've tried to get a mortgage myself, and sometimes people don't want to pick up the phone and they just want to waste your time. If you could do the deal, hey, listen, let's do the deal. If you can't do it, at least tell them so we don't waste people's time. This is the most important thing, seriously, because we're not going to get our time back. With that being said, I'd like to thank everyone that joined today. I really appreciate you hearing me out, my raspy voice, and giving me an opportunity to answer any questions. And if anyone needs anything, please feel free to call me direct anytime. And again, Ryan, I appreciate your vote of confidence to allowing me to speak in front of your team today. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so
Fantastic.
much.
Well, you guys, when you guys present something of value like this is, give them another weapon, another tool to do their best job, then I love it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kayvon. We're not everybody. You guys hang on. Kayvon, thank you. We're going to continue to talk. We got a couple other things to talk about. But Kayvon, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it. And you guys have this contact info.
Thank you again, Ryan. Everyone have a successful week. Thank you again.
Take care, Kayvon. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. One of the things we talked about in the email that I sent you guys before, and okay, we've got a couple of things. First of all, and Daryl, I do not see that he is still here. He brought up something this week, and I think we're going to discuss it next week because we don't have time today because that did go long. You guys asked some great questions, and hopefully that was of some value to you guys. The other thing I want to discuss with you, did you guys see that they have updated the as is and the standard contracts? You got an email from Florida Realtors this morning, probably because I did, and it discusses that. Well, since you guys don't know about it, I will tell you we'll discuss it probably next week. We can discuss it a little bit today. Let me find the article here on my computer, and here it is. It starts out, it's from Florida Realtor News, and you guys may have unsubscribed from there because you could have. Florida Realtors updates the as is and standard contracts and some of the addenda riders. And one of the things that they said is 2 tasks are to be completed during, you know what, I'm going to copy and paste it in the chat. All right. All right. 2 tasks are to be completed during the loan approval period. As before, the buyer must obtain approval for financing as described in paragraph 8B. New to the contract, however, is that the buyer's lender must receive a satisfactory appraisal before the loan approval period expires. The first time a FARBAR contract specified this. Why the change? The change was made to expedite receipt of the appraisal if required by the buyer's lender. Under the current contract, a low appraisal could derail a transaction as late as the closing, if that's when the appraisal was completed. Although a low appraisal can still derail a transaction, if it is received before expiration of the loan approval period, the property can be returned to the market sooner and a new buyer found. So, guys, this is what I don't really understand this until I see it. This is a summary of it. I don't really understand why any change was what this change does, because you're still limited by the appraisal. It could come back after the appraisal, the loan approval period still. So I'm not sure what this language does. It didn't already do. It just makes it a little clearer, I guess. But this is what I've been telling you guys as listing agents. Put in the contract, appraisal must be done within the first 25 days, 20 days, 21 days, whatever you want to do. Make sure the appraisal comes back within the 30 days so your people can walk. Okay, this language doesn't force that. I want to see you guys write that in additional terms. Appraisal must be completed within the first 24 days. Something within the loan approval period, because you want it to be back. And if there's going to be any negotiation or anything, you want to have that all done within the first 30 days, right? We're going to discuss this when I actually see it. We're going to discuss it more. Okay. Oh, I sent that.
Is this a good loophole for the buyer's agent to get out?
Let me redo this. I sent it directly to someone, sent me a direct message and it sent them directly to them. Let me put it in here. I'm sorry. There you go. To everyone. There you go. You can see with the language I just read. Sorry, I sent it to one individual person. Okay. So there's the language that I just read to you guys. Just put in there as a listing agent that the buyer will get the appraisal done within the first 24 days, whatever time period you want. If you want this loan approval period to be wrapped up, because it did have a loop in it, and now it looks like they haven't really fixed the loop. So just keep this in mind. There's only one scenario I can think of where this makes any difference at all, but nobody really been doing that. So I don't know. Anyway, I want to see the change in writing in the actual contract before I go off on it too much, but it doesn't look like it really changed anything. But what it's doing is it's reinforcing the fact that you guys should be making the buyer get their appraisal within the first 24 days. Okay. Other than that, I want to talk to you guys about a couple of things that I have seen this week. And
Ryan,
yes,
I'm
Rick.
sorry to, so Ryan, the condition that you are saying that to write in the additional comments that the appraisal should be back in between 1 to 24 days, right?
Yes, appraisal needs to be completed within the first 20. I'm making up 24. It could be 25 days, 21 days, whatever.
No, that's the problem that I'm facing these days, that the appraisal there, it's very delayed. So
you have to say ordered. It needs to be ordered within 5 days of contract or 7 days of contract.
No,
well,
I don't think you have control over when you receive it. You only have control over when
if they
it's
don't,
ordered.
I don't care, Tammy. If they don't have it back, they don't have it back, and the seller has the option to get out of the contract.
No,
That's
Tammy,
true.
the thing is that it has been ordered, but it is so much delayed that what Ryan is saying totally correct.
You're giving your seller the option, guys, because you know, they can give you any reason. I'll tell you what, Tammy, I'm not ordering one in the first 5 days because until I have my inspection back, and I'm not going to spend another, you know, $500 until I know that I want the house. But guys, you're giving your seller an option there when you do that. And you're taking off the table them dragging this out for 45 days while your seller just sits there and wonders what's going to happen. Then the appraisal comes back short, and then they want to negotiate with your seller. How's your seller going to feel about that?
Yeah,
not very happy. My property off the market for 50 days, and these jerks now, they want, just because the appraisal came back low. And this leads me to my next point. And Reshu, hold on to your question, because I'm going to go off on you guys for a second. Okay. So this leads me to my next point, which is you guys as buyer's agents, you need to know what the property is worth, and that your buyer is willing to pay the price that they put on a contract when they make an offer. Okay. If your client is looking for something that is $350,000 and they're going to offer $375,000 because they want this property, you make darn sure that your client knows A, what that property is actually worth, and B, that they're willing to pay whatever number they put on the contract. Okay, because what I'm seeing too much of is you guys go in and you put $375,000 and it appraises for $345,000, and then you're going to go back and try to negotiate with the seller in this market, and your buyer's mad because they're paying. Well, I was happy to pay $375,000 until I saw that it appraised for $345,000. I'm not paying $30,000 over appraisal. Listen, your real estate agent, your realtor should have told you exactly what that property is worth, what other properties are selling for in this community, et cetera, and built up the value to that property, or you shouldn't have offered $375,000. Okay, because you guys are having deals fall apart, and frankly, you're looking dumb. You're looking like bad real. This is what gives realtors a bad name. It's giving you a bad name if you're putting something on there for $375,000 and you didn't warn them that it's probably going to appraise for $345,000, but we really want this property. Okay, you guys are. This is happening. I've had multiple phone calls this week. I went into Abby's office and yelled at her about it. So because I'm frustrated with you guys, because you're not doing your job if you're doing that. Your client, it's perfectly fine to pay over. Look, you guys are posting all these things about why it's still a good time to buy, even though prices are high because interest rates are low. If you believe that, then you need to get that across to your clients. Okay. If you don't believe that, and it's questionable, if you don't believe that, then don't get it across to your clients and go find something. Keep looking for a great deal out there, something that's going to appraise. But if you tell your client, oh yeah, let's make this offer for $375,000, we want this property, without warning them that, hey, it's not going to appraise for $375,000, then you're wasting your time and you're wasting their time, and you're going to upset them and you're going to look dumb. So what are you doing? Sorry, any questions on that? All right, I feel better. You guys probably don't, but I do.
So Ryan, I have a next question to it. So when
Yes,
you're
sir.
saying putting that in the additional comments, the appraiser should be back in 24 days. So how does it help the seller? You can get out of the contract if it is not there, or you can have the addendum of the additional timing.
I lost you for just a second there. I don't know if everybody lost you, if I just froze up. I lost you for just a second.
So-
You said if they don't have it within 24 days, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm asking, like, how does it protect the buyer? Like, you can get out of the contract if the appraiser is not there in 24 days, or it gives you additional time?
It's not there to protect the buyer. I'm talking about if you're the listing agent, you want it there. You're protecting your seller, because you're not going to have your property dragged out past the 30 days when we know in this market it may not appraise. So that's how it linked into this other thing. If you've got a buyer out there who's going and complaining, trying to renegotiate in this market, it's not going to happen. I'm going to pull the deal and put it right back on the market and get the price I wanted. That's why so many people are asking up front for you to waive the appraisal overall. But I don't care, even when the market goes back to not a seller's market, I would like to have in there that my seller, your buyer, is going to have their appraisal back within the first 24 days, 25 days, 28 days. I don't care what you put, 21 days, as long as it's reasonable, not 12 days. That I want to have that back, so we can, if there's any negotiation necessary, we can knock it out before the 30 days, before the loan approval period. Because right now, the way the contract's written, and they're not changing it with this change. If you read this, they're actually going to make it more clear that because it's been a little bit unclear that there is an appraisal contingency in every as is. Now they're making it a little more clear that there's an appraisal contingency in the as is, make it a little more upfront. So you guys will quit arguing about it with each other, which happens all the time because I see them. So that's the only good thing to come out of this. So they're just making it clear that your appraisal is going to be done before those 30 days, or before our loan approval period expires. So what this is doing is actually dragging out your loan approval period until it makes it clear that your loan approval period is dragged out until you get the appraisal back. So what I want you to do is get the appraisal back, get people moving. So there's no reason for that. And like Kayvon just said, 5 to 7 days. Yeah, by the time that they actually order it, from the time the lender actually orders it. So lenders are blaming things on appraisers too. So there are tons of appraisers out there. Lenders are blaming things on appraisers, and part of that is buyers not getting their documents in on time, lenders being backed up a little bit, appraisers being backed up a little bit, but you could definitely get an appraisal back in 24 days if you hustle.
So what if you don't get it back?
What if you don't? Then if I'm the listing agent, I can say you breached your contract, see you later. On day 24, I'm going to ask you, where's that appraisal? And you're going to say, we don't have it back yet. And I'm going to say, well, we'll give you your money back. Here's the release and cancellation.
Oh, okay. So the seller can do that,
So
right?
the buyer is not losing escrow?
Lena, I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
So the buyer will not lose escrow in that case if seller choose not to extend?
No, you don't want to fight the buyer over escrow for that. No. Just give them back their, I mean, they can let you know that we can't perform and get their money back.
So basically the seller can cancel the deal.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan.
Yes.
Can't the seller cancel the deal anyway on that loan approval if you don't get it in writing?
On day 31,
30.
32, and 33, they can. Yes.
Yeah. Unless
And-
you put a smaller amount of date in there, correct? Unless you made it 25-day loan approval or.
But that does not, it makes it very clear, this new language, if you read, I put it in the chat, it makes it very clear that loan approval period is now like a blanket that stretches over the appraisal now. So if the appraisal doesn't come back till day 42, the loan approval period doesn't expire till day 42.
Really?
That's what this says. Two test.
I thought there was like a line that you still put a number in there, so there's no default approval period.
Listen to this new language. New to the contract, however, is that the buyer's lender must receive a satisfactory appraisal before the loan approval period expires.
No, see, I'm thinking before it expires, which is the 30 days or whatever's in that line that you put.
That could be, it could be interpreted either way from this. That's why I want to see it in writing.
Yeah.
So Ryan, it is default that if the appraiser doesn't come back, the loan approval period extension by default, it doesn't have to be written.
Oh, what's that? The loan approval period?
If the appraiser doesn't comes back in the time within the loan approval period, so it by default it extends.
Let's wait to see how it's actually written. This is a summary of it, a 2-paragraph summary of it. Let's see how it's actually written. Okay. So before we get too much into that, let's see how it's actually written. But yeah, the way I read it is that there's changes made to expect receipt of the appraisal if required by buyer's lender on the current contract. A low appraisal would be relevant.
I read it that it had to be done within the loan approval period, whatever time frame that date was.
That may be right, and if that's the case, it's great. That's what I've been telling you guys to do. So that's fantastic. If that's the case, that accomplishes a very similar thing. But so now you guys as buyer agents, what are you going to do? Because I see this all the time. I see appraisals come in after the loan approval period all the time. So what are you guys going to do?
I don't know how people do that. I order mine like ASAP.
Well, I tell you how people do it. Their buyers drag their feet. It's not typically the agents, it's the lenders and the buyers working together. Once you put them together, I mean, you're trying to expedite. How many times do you guys get calls from your lender or emails from your lender? Hey, I haven't heard from.
Well, as soon as I do my inspection, like ASAP, I'm calling the lender and go order the appraisal, and then I check back to make sure the buyer paid for the appraisal and that it did get ordered. Like
there's lots of delays that can happen in there, Tammy, and not everybody is Tammy Pipkin, as we know.
But Ryan, the appraiser itself, they are running late. I mean, they are also backed off. It's not the lender, even though the lender requested it early, the buyer pays for it, the appraiser companies, they are backed off. So they are not able to send the agents for the appraisers.
Well, if that's the case, Reshu, lenders will find new appraisers.
Okay,
because lenders can't do business in that case.
Or we ask for an extension of that time frame
You can ask.
if it's upset.
Bridget, no, it's a change that's upcoming. Bridget asked if it's on today's contract. Not yet. It's a change that's upcoming. So at least for now, continue to write in there that appraisal be done during the first 25 days or whatever.
So Ryan, I'm still not able to get that. If the appraiser doesn't come on time and within the loan period, does it automatically extend, or we have to write an addendum for the extension?
Give me that again.
So suppose the appraiser doesn't come.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, Reshu. I got your question. That's what I'm trying to figure out. The way I read it was that the loan approval period will be extended, but maybe they're saying that that if you put 30 days, that the appraisal has to be done within those first 30 days, or the seller can walk. But guys, if that means, all of these seller can walk kind of things, you guys have to be paid. The listing agent has to be paying attention, or you're not going to do it. Also, there's other things about this that are going to be changing. One of them is Joy just pointed out to me, and it's on the next part of this. If you got the email this morning, loan approval. Previously, the buyer's agent had to let the seller know, keep them advised of what the status was on the loan approval. So if you got it on day 22, you'd let them know on day 22. Now, it looks like the change says that you'll just have to let them know before the 30 days. So you can do it on day 30. Let them know that you had loan approval. You don't have to keep them updated all the time, although the listing agent can still contact the lender and get status. That's still part of the contract. So, and there's something to do with selling another property. We'll get into that later. I'm not going to get into that today. And there's some changes to the standard contract as well. But we'll talk about that at another date, because we're already at 11:30 right now, and we've got lots of stuff to do. We're also going to talk about Google verification and that kind of stuff next week. So I know we had some people very interested in that, and that's about it. Any questions or comments on that stuff? Yes.
I have a quick question, Ryan, regarding on a buyer that has cash, has inherited from her mom, but it's in another country. The cash is in another country, but they like to purchase a home here in the United States. So my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you're purchasing a property in United States cash, the cash has to be in a United States bank account under that person's name?
I'm not aware of that.
How
no, I know we can take international wires. I know that.
They don't even have it in a bank in their country. They have it in a safe.
Oh, yeah. That's a little
It's
different.
in Dominican. I get these weird things. In Dominican Republic, they inherited money from a deceased parent. They
Mhm.
took the money out. They didn't put it in the bank. They put it in a safe.
So they're going to carry a briefcase to America?
Way to go.
I hope they don't lose their luggage. No, so yeah, they definitely need to get it into a bank. They don't want, you can't walk into a title company with a briefcase.
But it can be a bank in their country or in Dominican.
Well, they might want to do that first. Yeah, that way they don't have to travel with it.
But it could it be? I guess my question, I didn't ask it right. Can it be wired from any bank in Dominican?
I believe it can be wired from anywhere. It might take a little extra time, but it can be wired. We've had international wires come in for clothing, so.
But ask title company, they should know for sure.
Yeah, that's the title company. But
Okay.
yeah, it can be, I know we get international wires. Sometimes they take a little longer to verify and stuff like that. And I've heard all kinds of horror stories about taking, 2 weeks to get into the country and all that kind of stuff. So talk to the title company and make sure that they'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
How many appraisal waivers do you guys see nowadays? Are there any appraiser waivers?
Yes, we've seen a lot of them. They're slowing down a little bit, but we've seen a lot of them. People waiving appraisal completely or waiving it and saying they'll go 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 over appraisal, whatever it is. But
Okay.
that's where you guys come in to say, look, this property is going to be, 30,000 over appraisal, or 10,000 over appraisal. This property is only going to appraise for 340 and we're offering 355, right? So that's where the professionals come in, and that's you guys.
Right.
All right. Otherwise, you're going to have angry buyers who are mad because Lena tried to sell them a house that was worth 30,000 less than what she had them offer. Right. So be very honest and upfront with your clients. Let them know what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm about to write an offer 80,000 over appraised value, and I'm trying to disclose it to the buyer, but they really want the house.
Perfect. That's a great conversation. That's a great scenario. That's a great conversation to have with them. You guys know this is 80,000 more than it's going to appraise for. Yeah, we really want the house. Awesome. And then if it comes in and it's 90,000 above, they say, look, you guys really wanted 80,000. Do you still want it at 90,000? Okay. Whatever. At least they're not going to be surprised. And you can say back on September 8th, you told me you really wanted this house. You didn't care if it was 80,000 over. Look, now it's only 70,000 over appraisal. That's awesome. What a bargain. But guys, an appraisal is just what a bank says it's worth. Just what a bank will loan a percentage of on. That does not mean it's what it's worth. Lena, if you have to offer 80,000 above it because everybody else is offering 75,000 above it, then that's what it's worth. Right? So there you go. All right, guys. Any other questions or comments? And by the way, Lena, it's good to see you here. Lena has been here longer than I have. Lena has been here for years and years and years. So it's good to see you in our chat.
I just got my broker license too, but I'm not planning to open my brokerage because I live in Texas. So I just got double brokerage, double Florida broker and Texas broker. So I'm like,
fantastic.
Here in Texas, the appraisal is like now it's a standard thing to waive appraisal. But I'm working with the buyer in Florida for $600,000 price range, and I just don't have a nerve to waive that appraisal because that's a higher price range. I mean,
right.
So
well, hey, if they want it, they want it. If you want to buy something right now, you're going to pay over appraisal. And most sellers, if they're getting other offers, they're going to want appraisal waiver. Why, if you're representing the seller, you want every penny you can get, right? Why would you be bound by appraisal in this market? And there's lots of people offering cash, even on $600,000 houses. There's people offering cash.
Yep.
All right, guys. Any other questions? We're going to wrap this thing up shortly. Any other questions? Man, well, it was great to see all you guys. It was great to see you guys interacting with Kayvon. That was very good. It seemed like it was very helpful and beneficial to you guys. Thank you, Ryan. Each week this open forum gets better. Malvis, it wouldn't have been an open forum without you sneaking a question there at the end. I appreciate it. And it gets better because you guys are participating. I love it. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week. Any questions in the meantime, let me know. And go get them. You guys are doing great. Bye, guys.